So how many of you in here have already used the planner several times, give or take several times, more than several times, a lot, often? Okay, cool. Okay, so if you are frequently using the planner and you just want to start using it to its fullest potential, you're in the right session. Last session, we went over the basics, like how to input your schedule, how to do certain things like find a reward or whatever. We're going to look at very advanced features today, like the favorites tab, the feedback tab, the classes tab, the students tab, and maybe if we have time, even some of those bonus tabs that are on the assistant tab. Oh, yay, Sarah, I'm so happy. Oh, well, you have seen it probably go through some changes then if you started using it back in March. Man, the planner has evolved. That should be something I include in the advanced session, is the evolution of the planner. It's crazy to look at because just the scheme and the things that it can do is just really evolved. I love working on the planner, and I haven't had as much time to do some updates and stuff like that as I used to, because man, my 4-year-old keeps me busy. And now my husband's home every day. It's just, I know some of you guys feel me on that. So this is I know it says right up here, advanced. Just know that it does not contain any extra features. There's no such thing as an advanced planner. This is just the master planner, and I just labeled it this way because it has a bunch of my student data and classes data that we'll need to look at in order to understand some of those functions. So I have a schedule copied and pasted in here, and I know I am not being a rule follower, you advanced user people. I'm not being a rule follower. I have some extra days in here that are not all one day. I'm just doing that for an example because a lot of my classes tonight are test classes and they don't have any resources, so that's not a great example. So I have my schedule pasted in, and I'm going to click start. So I already clicked reset, and I'm going to go ahead and pull in all of those resources. So today we're going to start after it loads everything. I'm going to hop over to the feedback tab and start there. Okay, there we go. I was like, wait a second. Okay, so you guys know how to kind of open these things and how to look through them. Something that I don't really highlight very much in the tutorials or anything is how to use this drop down. Hopefully y'all are utilizing that. I think it's really a great feature that we added in the last version, but if you don't like that floaty toolbar thing, you can take it off of present mode and change the different way that it opens. So the links on this tab. So I'm going to hop over to my feedback tab. Let me go ahead and select some rewards though for these students, just so that we can have a good example. I'm going to be showing you guys some advanced things, but I also am going to be doing some things that maybe you haven't seen before, how to do some little tricks and tips for Google Sheets too. So notice that I just highlighted this whole column. You can always highlight multiple cells by holding down your shift key, okay? So let's say I want to highlight like just these 3 right here, or 4. I can hold my shift key down before I click, and it highlights multiple ones at the same time. So I'm going to just do that for time's sake. So I'm going to paste these over here. We're going all lesson specific today. And feel free to unmute yourselves if you have a question about anything you see me do and you want to know how I did it, you're welcome to. So I have my rewards selected. I just did that so that I can have some data saved there. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my feedback tab. I'm going to adjust my zoom a little bit. I'm going to zoom out a little bit just because I can't see a whole lot of things here. I'm going to put it on 70. Okay. So when you guys first made your planner, you probably started noticing that the first 2 columns were always blank, and hopefully you learned a little bit about how to use these columns to help you save favorite feedback. But if you haven't learned that yet, you're in the right session, because I'm going to show you how to do that. So whenever you're typing your feedback or like customizing your feedback, a lot of people think that they really need to paste it over here into this column for it to save as a favorite. This is not the case. This is not actually the case. So what I want to do is, let's say that I like this feedback template. I'm going to customize it. Okay. So maybe I'll put teacher Megan, and I just hit enter to enter myself out of that box, but I double click and you can edit anything. A habit that I have anytime I'm saving a new feedback template, and it's one that was not popular, one that I didn't have a favorite template saved for, and it's just one of these over here, and I want to make sure that I know which one I edited. I always just type this at the very beginning so that I know which one I edited. Now, I can just then go from right here on this tab and highlight that text, hit Control-C, and go paste it in the portal. And I'm sure that most of you guys are doing that, like editing it, customizing it, and then putting it right into the portal. Well, and maybe you're saving, and maybe you're, resetting, and then the next time that you have that class, you're like, man, I'm making these same edits every time. Like, I always begin my feedback templates with, like hello parents, waving emoji or something, and so-and-so did good today with this, and at home work on this. I always begin my feedback with that personalization. And I found myself having to type that over and over and over again in all of my templates. And so that's kind of where this idea kind of was born from. One of the members from our Facebook group approached me about it as well. Like, how could we do this? And we all worked together, and it's super awesome. Like, I guess probably about a year ago is when we started doing this whole favorites tab thing. So I edited this feedback, and I don't want to have to make that edit again. Maybe I want to not have to type my name every time, and I don't want to have to fix those typos that are often there. I would want to save it or designate this edited template as my favorite. And the way that I would do that is I would actually not paste it on this feedback tab right here. The feedback tab, if you remember, it doesn't have any formulas on it, really. So it's going to get cleared out when you click the reset button. So you actually need to go to your favorites tab to designate it as your favorite. So basically, I'm going to do that same thing for all of them, like go in and make edits, okay? And notice that I'm not really like copying and pasting anything into that favorites column. The only reason you would do this is to, like, let's say you want to keep a record of what you left for feedback for your student. When you click that Save Planner button and it copies everything to your Classes tab, and you want just a record of that, you can get that in the portal, not on your mobile device anymore, but you can view that in the portal. But let's say you want it in your planner as well. That's when you would need to paste it to the favorite columns, because it actually, the favorites column is the only thing that saves to your Classes tab. That would be a whole lot of text for your planner to save if it saved all of the templates. I hope that makes sense. So if you're wanting to record specific feedback for your student, like template wise, you can actually just take your edited stuff and just paste it over here. Now, what I often do is I'll take my personalizations, like what they did well, what they want to work on, what they need to work on. I actually just type that over here, like right after class, so I remember, and then I can have that to grab and paste into the template. And this column A always saves, so to your Classes tab with that student. Okay, so let's see. I went through, and I'm going to say I edited all these things, even though I haven't, but this is just for example here. Notice that I do have some weird stuff going on with Bella's name, so I would need to go in and fix that before I, obviously paste that into the portal. But you can use the swap names feature up here. So if I want to find Bella Beige, I can go over here and I can type what I want the name to show up as. Note that when you do that, when you change names, anytime you change names, it's going to throw off some of those really time-saving things on your favorites tab. So I always recommend make your edits, customize everything, then go save it on your favorites tab, and then make any of those final last-minute changes like their names or what have you, because the names are important. Whatever is populated over here in column B it needs to match the name that's in this template. Otherwise, your favorites tab is going to not know what to swap for that placeholder. So if you're already using the favorites tab and you're going in and typing name all the time, you don't need to do that because your planner does it for you. So let's look at that. I edited all these templates, and so now I'm going to go over to my favorites tab. Notice that I'm not copying anything from my feedback at all. I just went straight over to my favorites tab. And what is going to happen is all of the templates that I just edited, they are going to show up over here in their exact current real-time state, okay? But it's not going to show the student's name, it's going to show the placeholder. So let's look at it. I'm gonna click the drop down and I'm gonna select this one right here. So notice that on that template that I edited, let me zoom in a bit. On that template that I edited, I can now see this right here, it says edited. Okay, so I don't have to go in and find which one. That's why I write that, so I know which one I used. But then also on my feedback tab, it has the student's name, but then now when I'm looking at it on my favorites tab, it has a name, the placeholder. This is how it's supposed to work. This way, you don't have to go in and like, it's almost like a reverse, you know, you don't need to go back in and swap the placeholder back in. It's just literally a copy and paste from here. So that way, next time when your planner has this lesson code on the input tab, and when you hit start and it goes to look on your favorites tab for what feedback and favorites and things that you need for that lesson, it's going to find that name bracket thingy, and it's going to say, oh, I need to put the student's name in it. And so that's how that swapping thing works. As far as gender and things like that, it's irrelevant, because as long as you have at least a gender in there and it's not like you know, all mixed up together, you do want to save like either boy or either girl. But then as long as you've got the actual placeholder name, you know, like bracket, name bracket in there, then it will know to swap in your student's name instead of having Bow Bow in there. So if you're, you know, going from your feedback tab and you're like grabbing this text right here and you're pasting it, you know, over here to whatever lesson it goes with, and then but it still has that student's name in it, it's not going to work. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that before, but that was a lot of, I mean, it was a learning curve for me, at least when we were kind of trying to figure out how to do this. So just know that you always need that name placeholder. All of column E on your favorites tab, it doesn't need to contain any student names, okay? So if you have templates saved as your favorite and it has student name saved as a favorite, then you need to go in and find those and swap them out. So it's pretty simple. You could just like, you know, whatever one you're noticing is always wrong and it has the wrong name in, you can go in and swap out that student name for that placeholder. So column E always needs to have the placeholder. So let's say I want to go ahead and save everything for this lesson. Next time I have this lesson, I don't want to have to remember what I picked, okay? So I could start scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, but that gets really annoying the further down the list you get. So I have this handy little button here, and you can just click it, and it's going to jump you to the correct row. So notice that I went from like row 14 to now it's just automatically on row 220. So this is very handy when you're saving favorites quickly and you want to be able to do it, you know, without having to wear out your mouse wheel, right? Okay, so I want to save Beth Pender's props for this lesson. So I would use the keyboard shortcut for the planner is Control-C, Control-V. So I want to copy this link, okay? And then I can actually go down here. I'm still in the right area. It's not highlighted anymore, but you know, just always make sure it matches with that ending digit, okay? So I'm gonna put it on lesson 8, and I'm just gonna use Control-V to paste it. And let's say I wanna use Amy's mystery box, Dino mystery box, Control-V. I'm just copying, and then I'm pasting, copying and I'm pasting. And then I wanna save this template because I edited this, it has my name on it, and I fixed the typos or whatever, you know. And I'm not double clicking anything at the top of the favorites tab. I am just simply copying and pasting them. So I would hit Control-C and Control-V. Voila. So now, once I've copied everything that I want to copy onto that row for lesson 8, this level 2, unit 7, lesson 8, everything that I copy down here is editable now. So like I can always edit this, but I don't ever edit anything up here. Okay, all this stuff right here that's in the colored cells, don't edit it, because it will make that cool name swap feature, it'll mess it up, you know, and it'll mess up a couple of other things. So just, it's a no-no. Just underneath that header row right here, you can edit anything. So let's say I want to take off that weird like edited, I can double click and backspace it, and it's not going to mess with anything. Okay, let's say maybe later on down the road I want to change this. I could use Control K, or you know, I could just paste a link over it. But Control K is a really handy little shortcut. You can just, you know, edit this, or let's say you want to swap it out for something else, you can do that as well. So and then the notes right here, that's you can either type in like lots of math, awful, horrible lesson, or I don't know, whatever. I'm so negative. You can use it to actually put lesson notes, or you can actually use it for an extra link. This is something I like to do because sometimes it's really hard to pick, right, guys? I mean, it really is. So maybe I want to have an extra option. So maybe I already used that with a student and I want to use this one next time, or you know, whatever the case is. But you can always copy and paste hyperlinks right there too. So like Control V. So now I have 2 options. The only thing is that it's not going to show this one right here in column D. It's always going to show up for my favorite reward. The way to access this extra one is by changing your quick view on your planner tab. I'll show you how to do that. Yeah, Karen. Yes, it definitely still, this is the favorites tab we're working on. So basically all of those feedback templates in column E, they all need to have name. So if they have a, let's say instead of name right here, it said Bella. Well, next time when the planner pulls in this feedback template as my favorite, I'm going to see Bella's name and not the right student's name. So I will give you an example here, because I actually am about to save and reset it just to show you guys. So let's say that instead of the placeholder, I put Bella right here, but maybe the rest of them has the, like, see how the rest of them have name, you know, but maybe just one I had changed, and I don't know, just for example, the next time that I have this lesson and it pulls in that feedback template, is actually going to put, it's going to keep that Bella there instead of putting in Elsa's name. You know what I'm saying? Because it looks for that placeholder. So favorites tab always needs to have placeholders. Your feedback tab, however, should contain that matching name, okay? Because if it matches, then it will show the correct name. So if I, let's say, before I saved my favorites, I want to click maybe fix Bella's name right here, and I go ahead and do that. Like I want to type Bella, and I click this, and it's going to change it. Well, now when I go to my favorites tab, it's going to be incorrect. It's not going to have the placeholder. So if you're often running into that issue where the favorites tab doesn't show the name, it shows, you know, a different name, maybe the name you swapped in, always just wait until after you've saved your favorites. Another alternative could be to prep from your favorites tab. I know a lot of people do that, and I think that's a cool way to do it as well. So sometimes we as teachers already know what we're going to say about the student, or, you know, we have that that vision into the future. You know what I'm saying? So I am guilty of that. I like to prep ahead, and so I will always get my templates ready. And so I just always remember to not swap any names until I've already saved my favorites, because now look at that. It says Bella in there and not name. And I literally didn't change. I didn't edit any of that text. But the reason is because your favorites tab, it is kind of connected to this ding, ding, ding. You got input schedule tab. It's connected there. So I have 2 differing names, and so it's going to confuse it. So what your favorites tab does is it looks at this lesson code right here, takes that lesson code, and it looks on your input schedule tab. What student name is with that code? Okay, let's look for that name and swap it with that placeholder, and that's what I'm going to show. That's what the plan will show on the favorites tab. But if you have two different names, like the feedback template has a different name than what's on your input tab, that's why it's giving you some issues. So just hold off on swapping names until the very end. So notice if I do go back to my feedback tab and I, like, I don't know, hit undo, it probably will take it away. If I hit undo, it's going to show me that placeholder again instantly. Okay, so that's just a tip there for you guys. Anybody have questions on that, on how to save, your favorite templates correctly, or how to, any questions about that? Holding my breath. No, for real? Okay. Oh, great. That means maybe I explained it clearly this time, because yeah, like I created this thing, but it's really hard for me to explain it. I don't know how that works, but it just is. So anyways, I would go through and I'd save all my stuff, all my favorites for my classes. The very next step I would take is to go over to my class, or no, sorry. Hold on, let me think for a second. I need to go over to my feedback tab, and anything that I want to specifically remember about that student, I would type in the class notes. If I want any of those edited templates to save, maybe Bella had a really bad day and I left a really mean note for her. I want to remember that, so I might paste it over here in column F or G, because that will get recorded on my classes tab. Okay. So the next thing to do would be to go ahead and save my planner. So I'm going to go back to my input schedule tab, and I am going to click Save Planner. A quick note that I talk about usually in the beginner session specifically about the Save Planner button, that I don't really mention a lot in the tutorials, is that the Save Planner button is to be used once a day. So if you are making changes to your planner and you're like in the habit, like with Microsoft and computers, you always have to click file save, and you're clicking the save button a bunch of times. Well, this is going to wreak some havoc on your classes tab. And if any of you have already experienced that, you know what I'm talking about. It's going to create duplicate records for all of your classes, whatever's on your input tab and on your planner tab. Anytime you click number 3 button, the Save Planner button, it takes that text from your planner and pastes it onto your classes tab. That's all it does. So I'm going to give you a solution for that. If you have a bunch of duplicate records, I'm going to show you a quick way to clean it up. So, but any questions before we kind of look at that? No? Okay. No? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save Planner. When I click Save Planner, like I said, it's going to take whatever is on my planner tab and paste it to my classes tab. A quick note before I click that button. If you're wanting to track students and you're wanting to track the rewards, specifically the rewards that you've used with that student, you've got to tell the planner what reward you actually used. Okay, it's not going to just know. So if you haven't been using like this rewards tab right here to record your selected reward, then that will be the source of the issue when you go to look at their previous rewards and nothing's there. So just always have a selected reward for your student. If you're just using lesson specific rewards, then just go ahead and Control-C, Control-V, just copy them. Just like I did, I literally just mass copied and pasted those over there. So before you click Save Planner, just always make sure that you've got the notes that you want to save for your student. You've got the notes, and make sure that you have rewards filled for your student. This is specifically if you're wanting to track students. And then the last piece of the puzzle is that they need to have a unique name. Because what if I have a bunch of Yutongs, okay? What if I have a bunch of those students that are named the same thing, like Bao Bao? Well, then your planner is going to get confused when it sees all those same Bao Baos, but maybe different levels and different, what have you. So you've got to give them a unique nickname. So if this is a new to you student and you haven't thought of a nickname for them yet, a quick solution would be to just add a number after their name. If you're using capitalization or spaces or just spaces and capitalization, but the names are actually still the same, then that's where you might run into some problems with like data getting mixed up, because this Google Sheet is not going to really recognize a space and a capitalized letter as something unique. So That's just a quick note there. And yes, Jennifer, good question. It is what populates into the feedback. So that's why I really hammered in that fact, like wait to swap out those names until after you have saved your favorite feedback. And it's super quick to swap out those weird nicknames. Like you notice how I have Bella Beijing. This is a student I met whenever I went to Beijing. Literally just met her. She wasn't even one of my students. We met at the Summer Palace, and her mom asked me for my show name, and she started having classes with me, and she's one of my favorites now. But I have like 3 different Bellas, and so I have to remember which Bella it is. So in the portal, I have her name as Bella Beijing. Well, when I paste my schedule, it always pastes with this Bella Beijing. And the planner will take away those parentheses, but it still leaves that original name in there. So I would need to go in and type, maybe I might type Bella Beijing as her nickname. But that is what's going to show up in my feedback. So what I do often is I just edit that template that has Bella Beijing in it. I edit whatever I want to it. And then I go and save it as my favorite feedback because it has that placeholder and I don't have to go in and add it myself. And then I go back to my feedback tab and I swap out that name. I'll say, okay, take away Bella Beijing and put in Bella. So it completely takes away that manual aspect that you'll find like in SlideKick or, if you were doing it another way. So, okay, so I have, let's say, I'm going to backspace that. I'm going to go ahead and actually use some of my already saved nicknames for those students that are on my input tab. Just ignore what I'm doing right now. But this is for example purposes. Okay. So let's say I'm going to just paste over that. All right. Okay. So these are not actual class records. I'm not going to save it okay. Anyway, so I put some of my students' nicknames in there. That is something that you can always do. If you don't want to have to type a second one, you can always copy and paste from your students tab. The reason I just copied it over this column D is because, oops, what did I just click? Okay, hold on. The reason that I copied over that column D student name is just so I don't have to go over here and type it. But the column D is editable. So, I mean, if you want to just type your nickname right there, you can. Okay, so I'm going to hit start, or wait. Let me copy this. I'm going to actually hit Save Planner, and it's going to go ahead and take everything and paste it to my Classes tab. And whenever I do that, I'm going to see all of the stuff that I have like on my in my planner is going to show up here on my Classes tab. Notice that really whenever you are using the Classes tab frequently, and you know this, when you click Save Planner, you're going to see your most recent record at the top. Why is mine July? I don't know. Let me think about it for a second. Oh yeah, that's right, because it's probably sorting it by like alphabetized, right? I think. Is anybody experiencing that yet? Oh, wait. I think I know. July. Huh. Let me sort it. Okay, E sort Z to A. Maybe I have, oh, I see. Notice, okay, that's really weird. Has anybody ever experienced this? Why is it showing July? Oh, speak up if you know. See, even the creator has issues with it sometimes. Okay, so maybe I can filter it. Do you guys ever use the filter on your Classes tab, or are you just now learning about the Classes tab? No? You use it, and okay, yeah, the filter button is amazing. So in Google Sheets, you can filter things by really any criteria you want. So let's look at the Classes tab before we hop over to the Students tab. But that's good, Jennifer. Yeah. Know this before we delve into the Classes tab and the Students tab. These two tabs, they are married and they love each other and they're lifelong partners. So your Classes tab and your Students tab, they work together to produce that record that you'll see on your Students tab. So any record that you have on your Classes tab is connected to your students that are listed on your Students tab. So all of these names right here in column B, they're going to be taken into account when your Students tab is looking for previous rewards, previous notes, all that stuff. So just know that those two tabs, they go together. That's how you manipulate things. If you maybe saved a bunch of times and you know, now you need to go fix it, you would go to your classes tab so that you can edit those records. Think of your classes tab as literally just your records, your class records, okay? So you can manipulate them in any way, really. It's all of this stuff right here is editable, okay? So if you forgot to put Vivi's nickname in, you can go in and change it to the correct thing, and then it will show over in your classes or in your students tab. I'm going to show you that filter button because that's a good way to filter, like to sort by date, to sort by student, really anything. Okay, if you're using date and time for input, it may be sorting by date. Yeah, I think it's just the problem is that I don't have a leading zero here. You see what I'm saying? There's no leading zero, and so it's, oh wait, did I sort A to Z? I did. Oh, I need to, no? Still weird. I don't know. It's been can I be real with you guys? I actually don't use the classes tab. I actually don't use the students tab. These are two tabs that were really requested features, and I teach probably, like you can kind of see, I literally teach all trials, so I just don't bother with it very much. I save and track for certain students that I see, but I just, yeah, my schedule is different than when the planner first was born. You know what I'm saying? So sort Z to A, and it's still just giving me trouble. So I don't know, super weird. Oh, look, it's not July 2020 yet. That's the problem. Okay, whoops. That's supposed to say 19. I'll fix it later. But that's why it's not sorting right. Like, these are future dates that haven't happened yet. Super weird. I don't know how that happened, guys. So anyways, I was about to ask, what is the purpose of these tabs really? So the purpose of these tabs is, let's say you don't ever really need to look at them, in my opinion. You don't ever really need to look at them. But if you ever did have an error, or you noticed an error in your planner's record keeping, these are the tabs you would go to fix it. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I put my schedule in again. So like I refresh or whatever, and a reset, and I paste my schedule again, and I have these same students again, okay? Whenever I go to my planner tab, I should, keyword should, be able to see their previous class notes. And notice that this is blank because I didn't put anything in column A on my feedback tab. I didn't put anything. So that's why that's blank. But let's say I want to click this drop down, and I want to look at previous rewards. And this is obviously something I would just quickly reference. That's why I call it a quick look, because you don't want to keep that part open, because some of those, like if you got lots of recurring students, you know, those rows can get really big. So you notice that maybe there's an error, like, wait a second, Alan 1, forest animals, I didn't actually use that one. I need to fix that. But the problem is that you can't double click here. That's going to mess up your planner. And also on your students tab, you can't fix it there because these are also part of a formula. So I can't double click and edit there. So I need to go to my classes tab. So anytime you have an issue with record keeping as far as previous notes or previous rewards, you would fix all of those things on your classes tab. Okay. So let's say I want to look up that Allen 1 class, right? Or maybe I want to, I don't know, view all the classes from that date because, whoa, everything is off. It's not right. So I could click create a filter, and it's going to give you this scary warning, but don't worry about it. Just hit OK. So I would go in and I would want to search by maybe class time. I want to filter. When you put a filter on something, like your air filter in your house, right? It kind of only lets through certain air, good air, right? Not the bad air. So a filter in Google Sheets acts in the same way. So whatever you select is what is filtered through. It doesn't change any of the data, but it just shows or gives you what you are specifying. So I'm going to click this drop down. Let's say I want to filter, I want to look at certain dates. So I would go over to the class time column, and I would click that little filter button. And so here is where I would be able to tell my planner only show me stuff from, you know, that certain day. So I can filter by different things. I can filter by, I can give it a condition to look at. So maybe I want to say if the text contains, and then type part of the date and then hit apply, it will show you all the classes from that day. Another way that you could do this is by, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There we go. Another way you can do this is by just going ahead and selecting from the already shown records here in this little scrolly box. If I want to see only classes from July, whatever, you know, I can just go through and put check marks on the ones I want to see. And then I can hit OK. And it's going to give me the scary warning again, but the classes tab is okay to do. So then now I'm only seeing classes from that date. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. But this is how you can quickly fix something that is wrong in your records. Okay, questions. Let's take a question break. Let's see. And feel free to unmute yourself if you like. Let's see. View it on my planner tab. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see. Let me get to the question here. Okay, save students in. Okay, yeah, that's a good use, Jennifer. I like that. Yeah, we'll get to the students tab next for sure. But that is a feature of the students tab, is to be able to leave, instead of leaving notes about the specific class, which is what the feedback tab is for, you can actually leave notes about the specific student, and that's what the students tab is for. Let's see.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Question.
Mine is about feedback. This is where I've been very, very confused. I've been using the planner for about a month, and I love it. It's worked out. I email things to myself. It's worked out perfectly. The feedback thing, I hadn't used that yet, but I've looked at it. I've used Feedback Panda for almost 3 years. So I've really done a lot of my own feedback.
I know. I know what you're about to ask. I know. Go ahead though. Maybe I'm wrong, but are you asking about importing those templates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've really redone most of the things that I use.
Right. And I know, and man, that's, so I will tell you, I spent a good portion of one of my free days, like back in January, trying to figure out a way to make it easier to copy and to do it all at once. But unfortunately, because of the way they have their website set up in the app, it's just almost impossible. So you do have to do it one by one. I know, like a lot of our, I have converted, I think almost all of our admin team from Feedback Panda because why pay for something that's free? And I know I love Feedback Panda is an awesome platform, and it's like super user friendly, very easy to track things, but and so some, you know, for some, you know, it's worth the money, and it's definitely a great service. So if you like using the planner for, you know, generating our resources and keeping Feedback Panda, no harm done. But if you want to have it all in one place, the planner can do that. But the only problem is that you actually have to go in and manually go through each lesson and do it. I'm sorry, I hate that. But I mean, maybe I could get some, put on my really friendly self and maybe talk to. I know that Danielle and her husband don't own it anymore. It's like actually owned by a different company. And so I don't know how I would get about contacting them but I'm sure they would be more than willing to, but there's no like export my data button on
right.
So unfortunately.
I'm sorry, I have another question then.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if I go into, this is where I'm confused, the order of things to do. So if I'm looking on my planner now for Monday. I went ahead and did Monday because I'm teaching. Looking and picking out some feedback that I like for my first student, Tiffany. All right. And I go ahead and I put that in my favorite girl feedback, and then I edit and still leaving the name. If I go to feedback, it's going to have her name already in there, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, so if you're pasting it from the generated templates and you're pasting it into your favorites column on the same tab, this is where it gets a little confusing, because those two columns, the first two columns on your feedback tab, those are usually empty until you designate a favorite. So if you want to copy and paste a generated template into those favorites columns, but you're on the feedback tab,
Okay.
it's going to get cleared out when you hit reset. So none of this stuff right here actually saves. It doesn't designate it as
Okay.
your favorite. So you actually have to tell the planner, like on the favorites tab, you have to go to your favorites before you hit reset, and you clear out all of that stuff. You would want to go over to your favorites tab, and then from there you can select your favorite template that you edited. You know, I actually don't even paste it to the favorites column, because the next time I have that class, that column will be filled up, you know, eventually. But what I do, just to know which one I edited, I just type a quick little like symbol or word like I edited this. But you can also see the different types right here. So like whatever template you edit, it's going to show up. And notice that I have like, notice how it's not showing the correct placeholder. Y'all notice that, right? It says smile on there. That's not right. Well, the reason is because remember, I went to my input schedule tab, and before I clicked save or reset, you know, all that, the buttons that I pressed, I changed the names. So that's why it's messing up. So yeah, just a quick note there, because I pasted those names over. I don't even think I hit reset. I think I probably just push start. So if I, you know, do this all over again and actually reset it and do the proper steps, it's going to show the right thing. But remember, whatever is on your input tab and whatever is on your feedback tab is super important. So see, look, I have these names right here, but I pressed start. So that pasted in all the new info, but it didn't clear out everything it needed to clear out. I didn't properly reset it. So that's why it's not showing the right thing. So, all right. And yeah, so classes tab is just really for fixing any class errors. How many of you have tons of duplicate records and you want to know of a one button solution? Anybody have that issue? Okay, cool. Because I have that issue frequently. And I used to just go through and like find them myself. But in the last like month or so, Google Sheets made this cool new function that you can remove duplicates. How amazing is that? So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to remove all my duplicates. And the way that I do that is by selecting all of my data. So the way to select everything in a Google Sheet is by clicking that little gray box underneath the formula bar. So I'm going to click right there. And then I'm going to zoom in a bit so this menu text is a little bigger. I'm going to click here to select all of my data, and then I'm going to go to data, and then I'm going to go to remove duplicates. And so it's going to actually show me how many records I have, how many columns I'm manipulating, but you don't really need to pay attention to any of this. You can check that. That's handy, because then you can actually see what you're analyzing, because this part is not automated. It's not, you've got to tell it what to look at, what to analyze for a duplicate, because you're going to have a lot of duplicates of the student name. You're going to have a lot of duplicates because you're going to see that student more. So we don't want it to look at the name. I'm going to uncheck this select all, and I'm only going to tell it to look at the class time, because those are the unique factors on the classes tab. So you would just click column E, and then when you click remove duplicates, it's going to look at the class time, and it's going to say, oh, I found one and I removed it. So cool. The last time that I did this in the advanced session last month, it removed like 50. The ones that I hadn't even noticed. So I thought that's funny. Okay, so questions about the classes tab before I show you the students tab really quick.
What did you click? You clicked the gray box under the formula.
Gray box. And then I clicked data.
Data.
And then remove duplicates. And then from there, you would select the criteria for the duplicate. And automatically Google Sheets selects all of the, like all of the things. I mean, it probably will still pick up some duplicates if you leave it as select all. Likely it will, especially if you've just hit the save button a bunch of times and they truly are, the entire row is a duplicate. But it may be, I think it's better to just remove the duplicates from the class time. It's more accurate. So, all right, so the classes tab is where you can manipulate your student history, your class history, all that stuff. Now, if I want, and honestly, if you're worried about it sorting correctly, I mean, you could go like here and you can sort, I mean, oh yeah, that's right. Never mind. I figured out the problem. Remember, because it was a future date, it hadn't happened yet. Okay, I'm gonna hop over to the students tab really quick. So notice that whenever I change those names on my input tab and I used nicknames, I could automatically view all of that stuff in the quick look that, you know, you should typically be able to view. So student notes, you know, that kind of thing. All of this stuff in column J on your planner tab, it comes from your students tab, okay? And remember, your students tab works with your classes tab, so they're all really interconnected. Oh, and I meant to show you guys this. Notice how I told you that I like to save links in the lesson note box. So if you want to view those extra links, you can just click my lesson notes. And then I'm going to see that link right there, and I can open it, and it's clickable. So very cool. If I don't want anything showing up in this box, I can backspace that. And it's going to give me this little arrow or error thing, but that's okay. Just as long as you're not like, I don't know, moving the box or something. So I'm going to hop over to my students tab, and let's say that I have a new student that's not on my input tab, but I want to go ahead and start tracking them. Maybe I have a future class with them, and so I want to put some info in so that when I actually paste that student's name in, I actually already have some stuff for it. So let's say his name is Ricky. Ricky, yeah, let's say Ricky. I'm going to use tab, my tab key, and it's going to hop me over. Enter in Google Sheets, enter, it hops you down, tab hops you over, okay? So the student's name in the portal is Ricky, but I'm going to call him Ricky, again, because I don't have any Rickies, so I'm just going to put the same name. That's another easy thing to do as well. But in your students tab, you have to have that assigned nickname box. It has to have something in it, okay? Let's say on his info, I'm going to put young kid. Oh, wait, I got to double click. That's right. Younger. And then maybe I'll paste his ID number from the portal. I don't know. I don't know why you would really need that, but you could use it as an identifier or something. Now I'm going to put their favorites in. This is not their favorite Google Slides. I'm actually going to put their favorite things. So he likes cake, pizza, puppies, and Pokemon. Okay, and so I have I have all of his like favorite topics, right? And this is something I would reference on. I would be able to open on the rewards tab. Like I can actually just go over to the rewards tab right now after I save him, and I'll be able to click in my quick look box and see his favorites. Okay, just to remind myself. Maybe my notes is to speak in full sentences or something like a parent tag or something from the portal. And then my last component would be a student link, photo link thing. Now, here's the thing. You can do this lots of different ways. As long as this link in column H right here is an image link, it should work. However, if it is like I have a video and I'll link it at the end, but that shows you the very specific steps on how to get an image link from Google Drive. But truly, all of it is, it's just basically going to drive.google.com and taking a photo. Like you can maybe grab a screenshot from playback and you can screenshot that. And so then the image is on your desktop and you would drag it from your desktop to Google Drive, like in your browser window. It's actually a drag and drop kind of thing. And you can upload it to Google Drive. And then from there you would click, get shareable link. That's the image link. Now, there's a known bug right now, and they're even talking about it all the time on the Glide forums, like for the app building thing I was talking about. Google Drive has some issues right now with consistently showing the photos. This is because they've employed some sort of like anti-bot, spammer thing to where it kind of limits the number of photo links that you can have at a time. And so if you have too many of them, it sometimes detects it as like a bot or something. And so then it won't show the image. So a workaround you could use is to maybe use like an alternate, like maybe not use Google Drive. Maybe you could use like, I don't know, what's one? Tiny Pic or something. There are, just search image hosting, okay? On Google, you can search image hosting and try that. I have found that it most consistently works when I've just opened my planner and I haven't had it sitting open on my desktop for weeks. I'm not lying here. There are some times where like I have my planner open for weeks on end on my desktop because I don't ever shut my computer down. I put it to sleep. I put it in hibernation mode. So when I wake up, it's been open for a long time. And sometimes it's just everything's peachy. And so I start using it. But those photos tend to disappear and reappear often. Does anybody experience that? No? Just me. Maybe it thinks I'm the bot. It probably is because I've got a lot of saved images. So, and just things on Google Drive in general. So any questions though about the student photo as far as like adding a photo to it? Just know that column H, like H3, before you click the Save Planner or Save Student button, you've got to have an image link in here, not an actual image. Okay, so on the Google Drive part, let me just show you that really quick. So let's say how did you get a photo? Okay. So Jennifer, when you're watching a playback of a class or even in class, on your computer, there are two ways to screenshot. You can take a screenshot of the entire screen, or you can do a screen capture. And if you Google that, you should be able to find a little bit of info specific to your machine, but just use your screenshot button and you can crop it if you want. And you can actually just take a picture of your student. And that way, you can use that picture that you take from playback or whatever, and you can upload it to Google Drive so that you can grab a link for the image pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to search on my Drive. I just went to drive.google.com. Notice that I'm in Google Chrome. And so I'm going to type right here, I'm going to type student photos. And I have a folder that I frequently use. I recommend that. Just having the student photos right here, just create a folder on your Google Drive and make the folder itself like public or like shareable. That way all of those links are not private, because if you're pasting a private image link, then you're gonna run into issues with it even being visible. If you are worried about something being public, just know, as long as you don't go sharing the link with everyone, nobody is going to have access to it, okay? So let's see, I'm gonna just click right here and I'm going to click this little get shareable link. And whenever I click get shareable link, it's going to show me this link right here, which is what I need. So I'm gonna hit Control-C to copy that link, okay? Another way that you can do it is double click. And if you double click on an image, here's Mike, Scared Mike, he's my favorite. You can actually grab the link from there as well by clicking the three dots, okay? But really, that's just the easy way you can there's so many different ways to do it in Google Drive. They just have all the options. I could right click, get shareable link. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna paste that picture link. So I'm just gonna use Control-V, okay? And now I have that photo link in the right spot and I'm ready to go. I'm gonna click Save Student. It's this little guy right here. I'm gonna click this. It's going to say Running Script. And now he's added to my students. I don't see him, but he's there. As long as you have clicked, like you don't have a blinking cursor anywhere or anything, you have all of the stuff you want to save in those boxes and you click Save Student, you shouldn't run into any errors. Now, if there are thousands of empty rows on your Students tab, or let's say there are just some like columns rearranged, that's when you'll have problems. So, and reach out if that happens, and we can help you fix it. But now I want to go find Ricky. So I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut, another keyboard shortcut, which I'm sure you all know well. And oh my gosh, I totally forgot to mention that in the beginner session. But you know this shortcut well because on your rewards tab, you've got to use this shortcut all the time to find something. So Control F would be to pull up the search box. And so I'm going to type in Ricky. And that's not how you spell Ricky. So let's fix that. There we go. So now I am just automatically hop down to Ricky, and there he is right there. And his picture is right there, kind of small, hard to see, but let's say I've seen this happen a couple of times in the group, and you're like, okay, there's Ricky, I got what I needed. Now I'm going to go over to my feedback tab, but my bar is still open over here. Well, this is going to make your planner work harder than it needs to work, because it's going to be always searching for that any tab you click on. So just X that out, and then you won't have that green box showing up everywhere. So, okay. I usually stay on about 10 minutes after we go through those advanced tabs. What questions do you guys have specifically about maybe the bonus tabs or anything? Does anyone have specific questions about something we went over or something I didn't go over? Feel free to ask. I really don't mind. Let's see. Yeah, Kim. So here's the thing. There are several possibilities, because the reason is because on your rewards tab, I don't know if you noticed this, but on your rewards tab, there's a box to click it, right? So like, let's say I have this, set to edit mode or something, right? And then I go and grab this link and I paste it over here, and it's in that edit mode link. And then when I go over to my planner, and everything is supposed to open in preview mode, but I have this odd link saved over here that's got a different setting. So you may check on your, Kim, you may check on your view modes that they're matching. That's all. Just make sure that they're matching on both. Yeah. Okay, let's kind of address some of this. I'm just literally self-taught. But I mean, I can totally answer questions, and if you have like specific questions about specific formulas, you're welcome to do that too. I mean, to be honest, I think it'd be hard to explain, but it's a lot of trial and error, and it's a lot of learning new formulas and then piecing them together. If you're familiar with like writing formulas, you know that they can be used together in, combined, but if you combine them in the wrong way, then it's not going to work. So it's just, a lot of trial and error.
I am a big fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
oh, thank you.
A big fan of your, extra page you have that does the find and replace.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
That is brilliant. And you didn't talk about that today, but I think everyone needs to see that bonus.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I can totally hop over there.
Amazing.
I can hop over there because I actually have a Glide app that I made for that feature. I should probably share that in our group because it would be so useful. I'm actually working on right now in my free time, working on a Glide app for the planner, and being able to allow Sidekick users to have a lot of these features that the planner has. And I used that one of those formulas for that app, but it's still kind of in its bare bones stages. But on the assistant tab, you can, the tab she is talking about, it is basically like a find and replace. So let's say, maybe you have the wrong like name or something, a wrong word, anything really. You can use this cool handy little tab and add it to your planner, and it's called the find and replace tab. And you can use it for anything. Like, it doesn't need to just be on your planner. You could just use it for everyday things. But on that tab, basically what you do is, like, let's say, hi, I like bananas or something. I can actually just tell it to find a specific word, and then it will replace it. Like, so say I want to find bananas, and then let's say I want to make it say apples. It's going to show me the different, oops, what did I do here? Oh, there it goes. Okay. So see, it's going to take it and generate into two different pronouns. So that's a very handy tab for those Sidekick users maybe who are having to find that placeholder all the time. So yeah. Let's see, Lisa. Jennifer, we always post those dates in the Facebook group. So just keep your eye on the events section. 2 kids with the same name, again, quickly, 2 candies today. So if you want to differentiate between two different students, just always on your input tab, if it's for next time, on your input tab, give one of the candies a specific unique name. And you can do that in column I on your nickname tab. So maybe I might call her Candy 1. And then from there, you would go to your classes tab and find all of your records with both of the candies and differentiate between the two. So edit that name that's shown up in your classes tab, and then it should show you everything. Yeah. Let's see. It might be, Kim, it might be that we don't have any resources for that lesson yet, but I mean, we should. Just make sure that you're, from words to sentences, level 3, unit 2. Weird. Yes, Jennifer, quick answer, yes. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Alicia. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, we're 10 minutes over, but does anybody have any questions about any of the stuff we went over today? I'm super happy that you guys came today, and you are welcome to connect with me on Instagram, YouTube, and if you feel so inclined, you can send me some coffee cash on PayPal if you'd like. And I hope you enjoy the planner, and I hope that it's super useful to you like it is for me. And thank you guys so much for coming. Yeah. All right. Well, y'all have a wonderful Saturday and have a fun evening if you're teaching. All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Megan.
Bye-bye.